Right now, investigators are trying to figure out what caused a massive fire at a commercial building in McFarland overnight. Also, the wait to see whether a grand jury will indict former President Trump continues as new details emerge in another case involving him. This is News 3 Now at noon. Good afternoon, I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in. We begin with the weather, where all of southern Wisconsin could see some more snow starting tomorrow night, heading into the weekend. An alert day has been declared. Here's Greg Barnhart in the Weather Center. We don't want to hear the words, but here they come.
Unfortunately, that S word is back again. So we had some last night. That's round one, but this one could be a little bit more significant, especially south and east of Madison. That's why we have the alert day in the forecast for late Friday night, early Saturday morning, snow 2 to 6. Still a lot of question marks on exactly where. The highest mountains, like I said, should be southeast of Madison. It looks like right now, that's a preliminary idea of where it's going to be. That is on that's accumulated snow mainly on grass areas. How much accumulates on the road is another question mark too, given that they're this late in the season. But we'll try to fine tune that overall. But still, you're going to wake up to snowy conditions Saturday with improvement for Sunday. But for the meantime, for today, we're not going to see much in the way of anything conditions, just some light winds, chillier conditions, getting up to the low 40s this afternoon. Not as much as warmth that we saw yesterday, but overall a little bit less cloud cover this afternoon. So dry conditions this afternoon through this evening, so no issues there. And speaking of even tomorrow, but all things do change. So later on we'll time out when the snow is, more importantly, when those road conditions will look like Saturday. And do we ever eventually dry out for an extended period of time? I'll break that all down a bit later in the broadcast.
All right, we'll check back with you, Greg. Thank you. Stay up to date on the weather on our First Warn Forecast weather app. It has hourly forecast, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Now on to that massive fire at a commercial building in McFarland overnight. Firefighters have left the scene but are still monitoring hotspots. The fire started just off Highway 51 next to the Chosen Few Gym. After 10 o'clock last night, no injuries reported. The building was occupied by a restoration company. Firefighters say the building had a vehicle inside it and its contents, and the roof suffered significant damage. Officials say initial damage estimates are around $500,000. A Wisconsin State Trooper is back home this morning after a crash involving their squad on the interstate overnight. It happened near the Badger interchange of I-39-90-94 on Madison's east side. The State Patrol tells News 3 Now a state trooper was involved in a crash, but that person was not injured. It's still unclear if anyone else was involved in that crash or if there were other injuries reported at the scene. Well, we're waiting to see if a Manhattan grand jury will decide to indict former President Donald Trump. Sources tell CBS News their work is nearly done. This comes as a federal grand jury meets on a different case in Washington looking at whether the former president mishandled documents marked classified. Jared Hill has more from New York.
The waiting game resumes today in Lower Manhattan to see if a grand jury indicts former President Donald Trump. It's investigating a payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels, which former Trump fixer Michael Cohen claims Trump authorized in 2016.
Because Mr. Trump has always had a reputation for having a rather loose relationship with factual accuracy. So if he calls this legal expenses when it is in fact hush money, I can certainly see why that could violate a New York statute.
Trump, who is running for president in 2024, has remained defiant and denies any wrongdoing.
Just a continuation of the most disgusting witch hunt in the history of our country.
Sources tell CBS News Trump is considering holding a news conference outside the court in New York if he is indicted. Once witness testimony wraps up, prosecutors will formally present the charges they're seeking. Then they'll ask the jurors to vote.
Grand juries generally do what the prosecutor asked them to do.
There's also been a development in the separate investigation into the former president's handling of documents marked classified. A federal appeals court has ordered Trump lawyer Evan Corcoran to testify about his communications with Trump concerning the handling of classified materials. Corcoran is expected to appear before that grand jury meeting in Washington on Friday. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
And among the evidence he's expected to share, documents and private audio files that could shed some light on what Trump said before and after the FBI searched Mar-a-Lago last year. The former president is continuing to take shots at his main Republican rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. While no announcement has been made, DeSantis appears to be laying the groundwork for a presidential run. This after an interview with talk show host Piers Morgan, where DeSantis called himself a winner. As for Trump, he responded on social media by posting, quote, "Ron is an average governor. We don't want Ron as our president." The new CEO of Starbucks says he will work as a barista once a month. Laxman Narasimha officially became the coffee chain's chief executive on Monday. He plans to work at a Starbucks store for half a day every month as part of his goal to improve the employee experience. The announcement comes as the coffee chain tries to fight off a wave of unionization where the first stores unionized in New York. The National Labor Relations Board accused Starbucks of, quote, egregious and widespread misconduct. A quick programming note about our evening newscast as the NCAA tournament continues. Tonight and tomorrow, CBS will be airing coverage of the games. That means News 3 Now at 6 will air at 5:30, preempting the CBS Evening News. And News 3 Now at 10 will air right after the late game around 11 o'clock. As always, if you missed any of our newscasts, you can watch archived versions on channel3000.com. And there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. TikTok CEO testifies before a House committee today. And items that once belonged to the family of a high-profile murder case go up for auction today. Details coming up in the Money Watch report.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
Get the absolute best pricing now during Furniture and Appliance Mart's 54th anniversary sale. 4-piece packages start at $63 a month after rebates, plus your choice of 6 months interest-free financing or low monthly payment options at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley.
You already know Dan Kelly worked for a radical anti-abortion group and on the court could uphold Wisconsin's 1849 abortion ban with no exceptions for rape or incest. Here's what you didn't know. Kelly opposed background checks on all gun sales and even wrote the court decision making it easier for dangerous people to carry guns in public, banning abortion, putting our communities at risk. Dan Kelly is too extreme for our Supreme Court.
Want a flatter, tighter tummy? Then check out new Ab-EX from Sono Bello.
Doctor, after my pregnancies, my body just never bounced back. I had this stomach overhang that made me really self-conscious.
It's not your fault. That stubborn fat and excess skin is extremely hard to get rid of with diet and exercise alone.
That's exactly why I went to Sono Bello. I really trust their team of experts, and I finally got the flat stomach I had always wanted.
Introducing Ab-EX from Sono Bello. Remove fat and lose excess skin permanently in just one visit.
Ab-EX is a great alternative to a tummy tuck. So that stomach overhang that you mentioned becomes a flat, tight tummy fast with minimal downtime.
Schedule your free, no obligation consultation now to learn more about Ab-EX by Sono Bello. Call 1-800-848-9429 or go to sonobello.com.
Habitat for Humanity of Dane County continues to help hardworking families attain home ownership. Habitat's financial coaching prepares families to buy and mortgage their own home, creating a brighter economic future for themselves and the community. Please donate or volunteer today.
It's Stop the Madness month. If your energy bills are too high, stop the madness. If your comfort is out of balance and you go straight from heat to AC, stop the madness. If you've had it with outside noise, stop the madness. Get insulated now and save up to $2,000 with the energy tax credit plus our madness discount. But the clock runs out at the end of the month, so call today.
USA Insulation. Get the absolute best pricing now during Ashley's anniversary event. We've marked down everything to match online prices, all backed by our 30-day price guarantee. Get your choice of 6 months interest-free financing or low monthly payment options and free local delivery, only at Ashley.
TikTok CEO Shou Zi Chew will testify before a House committee today. According to prepared testimony, he will tout that the U.S. has 150 million users and insist their information is stored on American soil, overseen by an American company. Federal and state governments have banned the use of TikTok on their phones over concerns its parent company could be forced to give user data to the Chinese government. There are now growing calls from U.S. lawmakers for the app to be banned in the entire country. Yesterday, TikTok influencers held a news conference outside the Capitol in support of the app. It's been 13 years since the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, became law. President Biden, who was vice president at that time, will hold an event to highlight the anniversary of the signature health care bill. The White House says more than 40 million Americans have enrolled in medical plans under the Affordable Care Act. And starting today, items from the Murdaugh family's South Carolina estate are expected to go for sale at a Georgia auction house. Some of the items up for sale include couches and lamps. It comes just weeks after the family's patriarch, Alec Murdaugh, was convicted of killing his wife and son on the property. He was later sentenced to life in prison. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Chanel Call.
Checking Wall Street at the noon hour, the Dow Industrials up 338 points, the Nasdaq up 226, the S&P 500 up 53. Next at noon, Pam has today's egg prices and more photos from her Iceland trip. Greg has the latest on the upcoming alert day. And today on Live at 4, we go back to 1986. And our Traveler Throwback Thursday will meet cross-country skiing's biggest fan. It's coming up at 4.
Fry Construction invites you to celebrate spring with our big spring thaw sale. We're talking about savings of 23%. Many of your neighbors already know how we strive to meet and exceed expectations with each and every project. That's why they voted us Best Roofer 3 years in a row. Experience the best of Madison for yourself with Fry Construction. Get on board with our spring thaw sale. Save 23% off gutters or insulation with any full roofing project. Schedule your consultation today at fryconstruction.com.
There were severe health complications with my baby when I was pregnant. We made the decision to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Dan Kelly doesn't believe that women should even have that freedom. On the Supreme Court, Dan Kelly will uphold the criminal ban on abortion. Someone you love might struggle with a pregnancy like I did. And that's why we can't have an extremist like Dan Kelly on the Supreme Court.
It's Steinhoffel's Dream Vacation Giveaway. Get in and test rest a Beauty Rest Black mattress for your chance to win a trip to sunny Hawaii. And right now, save $300 on your Beauty Rest Black mattress. Plus, get $200 in Steinhoffel's cash. Beauty Rest Black mattresses start at just $44 per month when you use Steinhoffel's 72-month financing. So save big and rest easy on your new Beauty Rest mattress from Steinhoffel's. Shop in-store or online today.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. Crest Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten. Making it personal. It's how you heal. We are Crest. We truly believe your memories matter.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Yellow Jacket star Melanie Linsky is having a moment. How are you taking it all in?
I think I'm kind of floating through.
And Brooklyn Peps Beckham shares his wedded bliss.
Beautiful.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
Earth Day is coming up, and we want to see what area schools are doing to care for our planet.
Tomorrow, we preview our Time for Kids Earth Day contest and the prize your entry could win.
And we'll have an update on yet another potential winter storm tomorrow between 4:30 and 7.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report with more photos for us.
Today we'll go dairy. Let's talk about the dairy industry in Iceland. It's not a real big industry as you might imagine, but the industry that's there, very, very profitable. Meet 26-year-old, I call him Isaac. If I had to say it in Iceland, it would take the rest of the hour. They have got a 50-cow dairy herd about 100 miles outside Reykjavik. Now, when you take a look at those dairy cows, you're going to say, oh, geez, they look kind of like maybe Shorthorn or maybe Guernsey. Actually, there's some Angus in there. A little bit of a diversity as far as the genetics are concerned. They don't necessarily worry about bringing in new genetics. I call them dual-purpose breeds. These animals have to be able to get accustomed and used to pretty severe weather, as we've discussed, and they also have to produce. Now, in Iceland, they are working on a quota system, so every dairy farm has got a certain amount of milk that they're allowed to produce. Basically, there's no return on their production if they go over their quota, so they watch it real close. Isaac, the 26-year-old that's managing this dairy operation, is the fourth generation of family members that are there. They've got about 40 family members that are working on this farm. Part of it is they also have a little bit of an ag tourism thing going on with a restaurant that a lot of locals support. About 5% of their milk production from their 50-cow herd is being used in that restaurant. The rest is going to their cooperative. The feed, as you can imagine, is something that's pretty expensive over in Iceland, but you may have also noticed those 50 cows are getting milked by a robot. That is something that pencils out for them. Again, remember, we're talking about a system that is a quota. They're getting paid about $2 to $3 per gallon for the milk that they produced. Each one of those cows estimated to produce about 50 gallons, so a far cry from what we're producing here in Wisconsin, but again, enough for that family to be able to get along. There's our group listening to him talk more about the dairy industry. He said, yeah, and now remember, he's 26. He said he loved being able to geek out with other dairy farmers. So great conversation, and a really interesting and novel approach to getting customers to come in, have their lunch with the cows nearby, and then support that farm family. So kind of cool. And again, tomorrow we'll try to wrap it up. We'll focus in on the Icelandic horses tomorrow on the show. All right, let's talk about what's happening in the markets today. Despite the fact that the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up, our commodities are falling apart at the seams right now. A new survey that was released from Ag Access that shows all of the predictions from the U.S. Department of Agriculture kind of coming true. 27% more corn acres, according to the farmers that participated in the survey. 32% more acres on wheat and 17% more acres on soybeans this year. That lines up with what USDA was expecting. Now, remember, on next Friday, the 31st, USDA will come out with their prospective plantings report. We know that things can change, but boy, the market is really ready to react these days when it comes to those numbers. Still waiting for our export picture, especially with China, to get a little bit better. And we also have to keep an eye on what's going on in Mexico. They have come out with statements saying they are not going to accept GMO corn, genetically modified corn. That's a big market for the U.S. That's something we've got to keep an eye on. Barrel cheese today, that's up 2 cents at $1.96. 40-pound block cheese on a Thursday up 4 at $2.05.5. Double A butter, though, a little softer today, down 3.5, closed $2.34 3/4 per pound. There.
That's a lot.
And tomorrow we'll do horses.
All right,
I know there's a lot of folks that want to see that.
Looking forward to that. All right, have a great day, Pam.
You too.
Here's Greg now with the upcoming alert day.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have another snow event that is going to be coming here. It's going to be late Friday night to early Saturday, 2 to 6 inches. Once again, that is on grassy surfaces. There's a lot more question mark on exactly how much will be on the roads given the late time of the year. Heaviest looks like still a narrow band southeast of Madison, but as you go farther south, it actually switches to rain too. So it's going to be a really tricky forecast to take of. But if we break that down, what we know right now, snow is likely during this time frame, just generally after midnight to about Saturday at noon. It tapers off in the afternoon from west to east. Some of the areas out to the west, we'll say it in the morning. Wet roads are likely by Saturday afternoon. Given the time of year in the daytime, we should be able to get to wet roads by the afternoon. Unfortunately, what we don't know right now is how much accumulates on roads. It really depends a lot on snow rate, and that's going to be tricky to see until we get closer to the event. Where the snow line is, more likely where the snow is, where it accumulates or doesn't. That's going to be a narrow little line between someone that gets a lot and areas out to the west. As you go closer to the Mississippi River, may not even see a flake or two. And then we could see a little mix. Rain, sleet, freezing rain. It just depends on timing. That's something we don't quite yet know. Probably will know that more by tomorrow. In the meantime, the low that's going to be really responsible for this is going to start Tuesday night down here around North Texas, and then it's going to develop, deepen, and then the path takes it right up through Illinois to Saturday morning. It should be somewhere in northern Indiana. Now, given this path changes in this, it'll depend if we get more snow or less snow. So that's still a little bit in question, but I think it'll go up here Saturday, and then by Sunday it'll lift further north, and we should be out of the woods of it. So that's what we're monitoring right now. Until it forms, a lot of question marks. Snow, like I said, the 1 to 3 inches to the north of Madison, 3 to 6 south. There could be an area of 6+. This is on grassy surfaces right now. How much, once again, accumulates on roads could be less than that, or it could be more slush than this. So that's the tricky part with March snow events, is the roads on how bad they'll be. You'd like it during the nighttime to get road conditions bad. During the daytime, usually not much of a problem, just given that you have the daytime and the warm temps. For today, in the meantime, we still got a dry period through tomorrow to speak of. So today, a little bit cooler than what we should yesterday, but cloud cover, we might see some breaks to the north. Overnight, we'll see some breaks too. We'll wake up to about the mid-20s tomorrow. Once again, pretty close to average, light easterly winds. Overall, not too bad. Tomorrow will be actually fairly nice. We'll actually warm up a few more degrees, more sunshine, light easterly winds. By the time we get to the afternoon hours, we should be up to the mid to upper 40s, a few spots 50. This is pretty close to what we should be near the end of March right now. Here comes a system. You can just see on the tail end as it comes up. Friday night, it'll be fairly dry until we get closer to midnight, and here comes the rain, snow. Depending on what it is, it'll start spreading to the north, and then overnight, it should then begin to change to snow. And you can see this snow rain line, it's more like a 151. That could change. I think then we'll be snowing throughout the Saturday morning until about noon, and then you'll start seeing it break up after that. Given another perspective, by Saturday afternoon, you can see it begins to lift to the northeast. We generally see good sky conditions. So by the time we get to Saturday afternoon, most areas will be really good. Roads should be mainly wet. It's just we're really going to have to nail down when that tricky time is between late Friday night and Saturday morning with regards to road conditions. So once we get past the snow on Saturday, cooler Sunday, then we have a little weak little system, maybe late Sunday night, Monday with some rain or snow. That won't be a real significant event right now. And then we have a dry period, but once again, this active pattern will not let loose because we have rain coming back in towards the end of next week. And I believe that following Saturday is April Fool's, so I don't think it'll fool you that it'll be wet, but we'll see.
How many of these storms have been just,
I've just lost track.
Crossing, what, rain, snow, sleet?
It's been open system for the West Coast, and the pattern's been very progressive, and they keep coming out.
They keep coming.
Yep.
All right, Rick, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, Howard continues his world tour with a Latin American recipe in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
The best flan I've ever eaten. If you come back in a few minutes after I finish this, I'll show you how to make it. I promise.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
It starts as a kitchen built for right now and grows with you as life changes. Clearview Cabinetry is flexible by design, so you can go from doors to drawers for storage that works at every stage. And the style is so easy to update, you can do it in a snap, meaning you don't have to remodel your space to make it work even better. Because it's not just a kitchen, it's the center of your universe. Clearview Cabinetry, 11% off at Menards.
Creating family memories is what Maple Leaf Landscaping is all about. We design and build outdoor spaces that bring people together. Landscaped spaces for any size family. Functional, beautiful, a place everyone will enjoy. And it all starts with a free visit at your home by one of our landscape experts. So call Maple Leaf Landscaping today and have us create an outdoor living space for your home.
Family-owned Brothers Maine knows choosing appliances for a remodel or new build can be exciting and overwhelming. Our experienced staff has experienced it all as we've guided thousands of area families through appliance selection. Brothers Maine has a larger inventory and low-price deals that consistently beat competitors, including Big Box. You heard me, Big Box can't beat our prices. From sales to install, Brothers Maine does it all. Feel great about your purchases and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
On abortion rights, do you want extremist Dan Kelly holding the gavel? Kelly wants abortion banned even in cases of rape, incest, and the health of the mother. He'll uphold the 1849 criminal abortion law that allows doctors and nurses to be jailed for performing abortions. And he'll strip women of their freedom to make their own decision on abortion. So don't give Dan Kelly a gavel with your vote. He's just too extreme.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way. All you have to do is point. And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I hope you've been enjoying our week-long celebration of international food favorites. Today, I couldn't be more excited than to share a creamy dessert that's a staple throughout Latin America. Of course, I'm talking about flan. Just saying the word gets my mouth watering. So, what do you say I show you how to make this? To make the caramel topping that flans are known for, we heat some sugar in a skillet, and once it's amber in color, we pour it into a cake pan and swirl it like this. While this sits for a bit, we add a can each of sweetened condensed and evaporated milk into a blender, along with some eggs, vanilla, and a bit of sugar. Then we give it a whirl. Now, this gets poured into our pan that we set inside a roasting pan. We carefully add some water until it's halfway up the sides of the flan pan, and we bake it. The hot water bath ensures that this will cook evenly as it bakes. After this sets and cools, it's ready to flip out onto a rim platter. There you have it, the richest, creamiest, and most amazing flan you've ever tasted. I rarely say this, but if you don't visit our website and get the recipe for our dreamy flan, you'll really be missing out. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a Latin-inspired way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, it's time to introduce you to our pet of the week. This is Tommy. Tommy's a 6-year-old independent cat who enjoys pets on his terms. He's also friendly, but can be a bit pushy when he wants attention. Tommy prefers to sit near humans rather than being picked up or placed on a lap. And he loves treats, playing with wand toys, and sitting in windows to watch the wildlife outside. Tommy is part of the Lonely Hearts Club, so his adoption fee has been reduced. Toto's Gala online auction closes tomorrow night. You can bid on items like wine, artwork, gift cards, jewelry, and much more. Be sure to bid often, as funds and donations will help support animals in need. Items can be picked up Saturday from noon to 3 at the Danny County Humane Society. For more information, and to bid, go to giveshelter.org/Toto. And last week's pets, Shelby the dog and bonded dogs Derman and Kessler, featured 2 weeks ago, are still available for adoption. And the guinea pig duo Queenie and Bear, featured 3 weeks ago, have been adopted. If you're interested in adopting Tommy or checking out all the other animals, go to giveshelter.org. That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. Remember, Alert Day starts tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. Have a great afternoon.